Hi, for today's Skillshare, we're going to be creating an event in ActionNetwork and the overview. We're going to cover, what information goes on like the registration page, the after registration where the Zoom link is normally shared, and then advantages of using this over the website calendar or how to use it alongside the website calendar. They're both separate, they don't talk to each other. But there's definitely some advantages of using ActionNetwork here versus the website calendar, vice versa. So how to use those in tandem. All right, so first when you log into ActionNetwork, you go to People, and then Actions, Events, and you hit this plus. All right, so we're going to call this Skillshare test. The administrative title is only what people working in ActionNetwork see. So usually keep it very simple. You don't have to put like the long, turn out the exciting catch line to get people to come out to an event. It's just very by the book, so it's easy for people to find. Title of your event. All of this is pretty self-explanatory. You can mark that an event has no physical location and have contact info. You can have start dates. Some challenges with using this: you can't have recurring events, so that might be where it's useful to create events on the chapter calendar and then have an RSVP list that's just this. So we'll call it Skillshare test, start date and time. Let's say it's this Friday at 2 p.m. Event has no physical location because most of our events have been on Zoom this past year. And then you put in your description, you put in a banner image. The preference is wide format, not square or portrait, just a landscape image. Generally recommend something where the key text is centered. Because it's going to crop if it gets shared out on Facebook or onto Twitter. So wide landscape image, the key information and visuals in the center. And that's going to share easiest onto other platforms. This is a test and a triumph. All right, and then you can add different information. You may want to include fields on, what unions they belong to, what community organizations they're a part of. And so you can add those, and you can have those fields map to fields that exist in our data already. Stuff like language, what neighborhood they lived in, their interests and their skills that they can bring to an organizing space. All right. And you can note to bring guests so they can forward the information and other people can show up. By default, whatever group that you are organizing in, you get to select that when you log into ActionNetwork. So my default is Seattle DSA, and that's our main list. And we have sub-lists for different committees, different district groups and neighborhoods. So you can set a cap on attendees too. That might be important when we move back to physical spaces, or if there's some sort of limitation within whatever software you're using for an online event. All right, so save and go to next. All right, so this is important because this is the information that someone sees after they register. So for good OPSEC, we generally keep the Zoom information here and paste it in for instructions for people on the event information. So just post in all the information from Zoom, the Zoom link, the dial-in info, all that, or any sort of other things that you want people to know about that maybe you don't want to have on the front face of the form for security reasons. Like maybe the event is at a member's house, and so you just don't want that to be public. You only want people who RSVP and go through all these steps to then have the address. Yeah, so you can customize all this. We'll just say that the Zoom link is here. And then you can remove sharing options if you don't want an event shared. Maybe it is really sensitive meeting and it's around a topic that's really important and you don't want it to be like just shared by anyone who happens to RSVP. So you can remove sharing options. But you'll be able to customize the information that goes into the subject line on if someone shares it via email or what the embed text looks like. So for now, we're just going to remove the sharing options. Let's pretend there's some reason that we need to. All right. It's going to automatically create calendar links. These are files that people can download to their phones or their computers and then use it to populate their calendar in like Google Calendar, iCal, Outlook, etc. All right. And then we hit save and publish, and then our event will appear. All right. So a couple of things. You can see statistics on who RSVP'd by day. You can look at more event info, tracking if people came from websites. You could see like what was the main, like, are we really good about getting people out to Medicare for All events on Twitter versus Facebook, or maybe Instagram gets a lot of people out for certain things. So just something to pay attention to. You can go into like deep dives on that. So the last topic is advantages of using this versus using the website calendar. The website calendar doesn't talk to the system at all. And so because this is an Action Network, it actually updates member data or adds new people to our lists that we use for sending out like the Monday emails or in different committees. So having something that uses Action Network in an Action Network event can be really useful, especially if you want to keep the Zoom link private, at least more private than like the public-facing website calendar. Yeah, so you can use it alongside. What most groups typically do is they copy a link for this direct link right here about this particular event, and they use that RSVP here in the website calendar event. And so they're able to do that. They're able to get information into Action Network where the systems are actually helping each other. And then we could find people who attended, a Medicare for All event to reach them out for, say, more healthcare and health policy organizing. Yeah. So you can use them in tandem. You can use them just individually if you don't like using the website calendar. But that's generally the place most people go to find out about events, and then they go over to Action Network if there's a follow-on RSVP link. So you can use one, the other, or both. Recommendation is probably both. If you have, it just helps maintain our data and get more people connected to the movement and movement building and movement work. Yeah. So that's the skills share for this week. If you have any questions, my name is David. I'm the Internal Comms Officer for Seattle DSA. And feel free to catch us every Sunday at 2 p.m. Where we do a skill share, and we also talk and log work into Trello for the various committees throughout the chapter. Thanks.